It's actually happened for a couple of days now. I've had some issues where when the car warms up to above 190 degrees, it starts missing really badly and wants to die. Just driving it down the road though, as long as the temperature stays below 190, no problems whatsoever. So right now, cruising along the highway, 55 miles an hour, temperature is about 182 and holding steady as I'm cruising down the road. But here in a little bit, I'm going to get into town, slow down, pull some codes when I get home, see what I get for a code, because I reset the codes the other day, and then today it happened again. So we'll see what it says and go from there. All right, we're going to check the codes here on it. This is one of those areas where I installed the removable steering wheel, which makes this much easier because I've got a lot more room to get inside of the car here. I'll show you. I need to get inside underneath the dash to get to where the sensor plug is, which is right up in there. So you can see how not having the steering wheel, because I was able to pop it off right over there, makes this job way easier. All right, so I've got the pins jumped here, and now you just turn the key to the on position. You don't start it, and we will see which codes come up here on the dash. So C12 means it is reading correctly, nothing to worry about there. And then no other codes there. And we'll have to probably look up these codes if it gives me anything. So I'm not sure what they'll mean. No codes under that one. No codes there either. So, no codes, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to diagnose the problem I'm having, because I was really hoping to have a code pop up there to tell me there was some kind of sensor issue. All right, so today we're going to change the fuel pump in my 1994 C4 Corvette. Been having some issues that I'll kind of describe throughout the video that lead me to believe that it's definitely a fuel pump. The only thing I haven't done is put a gauge on the fuel lines and check the pressure while I'm driving around. But I've checked for engine codes, done a lot of other things. There's no codes at all. After doing some research online, pretty confident fuel pump is bad. So that's what we're going to be doing today for you guys. We'll be installing a CarQuest Premium fuel pump. Got a new strainer for it. And then we're going to be taking out the little fuel pump pulse regulator thing and replace it with just some fuel line today, as that seems like it's a really good option to do at this time. So changing out the fuel pumps on the C4 Corvettes is actually pretty simple. You're going to access it where you fill up the fuel on the car. Pretty simple. There's some screws right here we're going to pop off this cover, and then we'll have access to the top of the fuel tank where the fuel pump sending unit is located. There's 4 screws. There's 2 down here, and then 2 up here on the back side of the lid as well. Just a Phillips screwdriver. Can remove those. Just using a shop towel here to lay stuff on so it doesn't get all over the paint of the car itself. Seems pretty straightforward. Hopefully it is, because it seems like this is going to be the easiest one of these I've probably ever done in my life, which is kind of weird because everything else in this car is very difficult. Recently replaced the OptiSpark distributor on here with a aftermarket Dynaspark one. I was having some issues a few months ago with spark and ignition, and there were actually codes for that. So I knew for a fact that that was the problem. And I was getting kind of worried that was the same problem I was going to have this time. But like I said, there's no codes this time. So it's not a spark issue. Definitely a different issue. And what was happening, as I mentioned a little earlier, the car would get warmed up, I'd drive it for a while, then it'd kind of start spinning and sputtering. Every once in a while it'd start running normally again. Occasionally it would die, and then I would have to let it sit for a while to cool down before it would start back up. So I've got those 4 screws out. This cover just pops right off. Pretty simple. Now I can see there's that. Looks like there's like a rubber. Yep, this is for the overflow spill type thing in case you overfill your tank, so it doesn't run everywhere. It kind of directs it. And here's the little cover with a little drain tube there. There's actually a tube right here it connects to. However, flows, it goes just down below the car on you. And then, now, give you guys the view of what's in there. Is the fuel hoses, feed line, return line, all the goodies there, electrical connector there, and then just the bolts that hold it in right there. We're going to remove all that. Pull everything out today. That sounds exciting. And then it should go without saying, unhook your battery before doing this. You are going to be messing with an electrical connection in here. And then, like I said, you can see the hoses. We've got a hose here, and then a hose here. Looks like these are just little screw clamps on there, like a 1/4 inch screw clamps. So I'm just going to use a ratchet here to pull those off. Same with this one down here. And I'm sure this is all original on this car, so it's going to probably take a little bit of work just to wiggle this stuff off. I'm making sure there's no cracked lines or anything like that as well here. And then for me, another reason I think it's the fuel pump on this one, on the engine, the feed lines to the engine for the fuel lines, there's actually like a Schrader valve to release pressure. When I went to do this to release the pressure on the line, there was no pressure built up, so it just makes me believe that the fuel pump's failed and it's not keeping that pressure steady. So just another reason that I think it's that as opposed to something else. Here's kind of a view in there for you guys. You can see there's the line on the top, on the bottom right, and then over on the left, as well as the electrical connector right there. And you can see the bolts all around there. So I'm going to unhook everything there, and then unbolt that, and then hopefully pull everything straight out and have access to the fuel pump. And then you will be dealing with gas fumes from the fuel lines, things like that. I've got a fan running to circulate air in my garage, plus I've got the door open behind me and stuff. You definitely wouldn't want to probably do this in a closed space. You don't want any open flames near this or anything like that. Be safe, don't be stupid, don't get yourself hurt. If you're not comfortable doing this, take it in and just have someone do it for you. So as I got in here, I did find I had some fuel hose that was kind of damaged here, cracked open, leaking everywhere. So I ended up picking up some more 3/8 fuel hose, fuel line, connector, and I spliced off some of this line in there, put in the connector, and I'll attach some more line to it. I'll get you guys a picture of that here really quick so you can see what that looks like in there. You can see right in there, that's where I have the splice in there. Then I'll put some hose on this end of it and connect it when I get the new fuel pump all ready to go. Alright, so I've got all the bolts off, all the hoses are disconnected, electrical connection is unplugged, and now you just pop this thing out of here. Literally, the easiest thing on this car to work on so far. Yeah, there you can see the actual pump on the bottom here. Here's the strainer I'm going to replace. And here's the whole sending unit, and honestly it's probably in okay shape. Probably consider replacing the entire thing if you're in this far, but I'm just going to be doing the pump and the strainer on the bottom and then replacing this little guy here. Yeah, so here it is. Got some gas leaking out of the front there. This is the fuel pump I'm replacing. The sock I'll be replacing here, the little strainer, and then this is like a little anti-pulse thing on here. I'm going to be pulling this out and just putting some hose right there. There's not really... Alright, so here you can see I've got it laid out. Here's the new fuel pump. It's going to go on right here. New screen that will go on the bottom of that. It's got some hose that I'll put in line right there. Like I said, pull out that little shake thing or anti-pulse thing, whatever that is. A couple hose clamps to use to hook it up. And it came with some O-rings in case you had the kind of fuel pump setup that had O-rings to install the top. Mine doesn't. Mine uses a square gasket up here that I'll have to get to put on there still. But we're going to go ahead and disassemble this and get it put back together. Alright, so on here, electrical connection on the top of the pump right here. Just like that there. That's pretty easy. And then you can see this just spins on there. It's going to slide off right there. We're going to slide this whole assembly out right here. On the bottom here, I'll pop it up to get it off there. You can kind of see how that does. There's a little gasket rubber piece there. There's the new one there. Just gonna rip the screen off so you guys can see really quick. So now on the bottom here, you can see this. Just you can push it up and slide it over, and then the whole piece will just come off just like that. So this is that little pulse thing I was talking about. Some people said that this could actually be the problem I'm running into with the vehicle. I don't know how, but from everything I can read, it's not really necessary on the car because you don't have too many issues with pulsing fuel lines. So we're just going to replace that, like I said, with a fuel line. Not very long. It's going to go right there between here and the actual feed tube. So I've got the new pump here. I haven't put the sleeve on it yet. We'll go ahead and just slide that on quick for you guys. Comes with the new outside cover there. Slide it up and over. There we go. And this is the piece of hose I'm going to put on instead of this little pulsing thing. So now I'm going to do is just kind of turn this, line it up so that way I can make sure I get it cut to the right length on here. So when I slide it all together, it'll fit the way it should. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit shorter of a pump than the one that was on there. That's not a big deal really. And there it is, new pump, new strainer, piece of hose in place of the little pulse thing that was on there. And we're about ready to drop it back in. It is new pump installed, hoses connected, wires connected. It's a moment of truth. We're gonna get ready to fire it up. And before I put the lid and everything back on it, I am gonna start it up, make sure it works, so that way if there's any issues, it's easier to get back to as opposed to pulling everything back apart. All right, so new fuel pump's in, battery's hooked back up. I'm gonna turn the car on, make sure I can hear the pump running, and then I'm gonna go out and just make sure there's no leaks or anything before I try to start the car. Just looking to make sure I don't see any leaks or anything. That's the feed line there. That line there is that drain line that connects to the cover that fits over here. And here's hoping it fires up. It might take a little bit because it's got to prime the lines and stuff. There she is, purring. Make sure it runs here a little bit. Fuel gauge is working like it should. See, the fuel gauge is working. I was wondering if that would work all right. It seems to have been fine. Yeah, I did a video about my quick disconnect coupler and the steering wheel a little while back. You can check that out on YouTube. It makes it so much easier to get in and out of this car. Alright, same thing, looking just to make sure there's no fuel leaks anywhere. I would say successful. So fuel pump swapped out, we'll drive it around, make sure it works alright. Hopefully that fixed the problems I was having. Alright, so fuel pump is in, fuel filter is changed. We're gonna start it up, take it out for a drive, see if it fixed the problem I was having. Let's hope. She starts up just fine, so that's good. Headed in the right direction anyway. Alright, so it's still here and there, you can see it. That's the problem I'm having with it. So you can tell the fuel filter and pump unfortunately did not fix the issue, so we'll keep digging, find out what's going on. But now you know how to at least change a fuel pump, and which is kind of a good thing, I guess. Until next time, have a good one.